Welcome to the Driven Agenda podcast, where raw journeys drive ambition and reveal the fuel behind people's success. I'm Shannon Sagan, a personal injury lawyer, entrepreneur, and founder of the Dashcam Lawyer. This podcast is all about being driven, focused, motivated, and determined to reach your goals and setting an agenda that pushes you forward. We bring you insights from top players in business, sports, real estate, investing, health, and more. Here, we dive into what it really takes to thrive with candid conversations that cut through the noise and get to the heart of people's success. All right, we're live on the Driven Agenda podcast with another good friend of mine, Jay Naddeo. Jay, I met through a mutual friend a while ago. How many years now? Between 15 and 20, I want to say?
15, 20 years, something like that.
God,
yeah.
Time flies.
It does.
Jay was a personal trainer back then, and he trained me for a little bit. That's why in my phone, your name is Jay Via Lugano. Because I did not know your name. I did not know your last name back then. So it's still Jay Via Lugano.
Very cool.
Jay was a very experienced personal trainer. I'm sure he still is, but he was amazingly strong for his size, like super strong. And I think you did a little MMA fighting too back in the day.
Just a little bit. I worked with more guys that wanted to do the training, and I was more of their punching bag. Just have fun with them.
Yeah.
Go spar, grapple.
You had some fights though?
No, I never actually got in.
Okay.
Every time I wanted to, something in life came up and was just like, hey dude, you can't do this weekend. You got to do this instead. But my brother fought. We had 3 fights with him, and he did well. And then, he got out of it because business and the bruising from his bosses. They're like, hey, listen, man, you can't come in with black eyes and be the general manager of this restaurant anymore.
Plus, there's zero money in it, especially when you're at that level where you're not at UFC or something in that realm.
In the beginning, there's nothing there. It's all for
fun,
the adrenaline, the fun, and the thrill.
Yeah.
So,
well, welcome, my friend. Jay is part owner of Rip Print. If you are someone who's been in Palm Beach County for any period of time, you are familiar with Rip Print. They are a very large printing company. I'll have Jay get into the details of it. But how did you transform from being personal trainer full-time, I think you were, into getting into this type of business?
So it was a real interesting turn of events, right? So personal training was good, but back when we were doing it, CrossFit, Orange Theory, they were all in the beginning phases, right? They just started coming out. Nobody really knew what they were. But the thought process of the group-related fitness and, hey, for $150 a month, you can come and work out 5 days a week and get a guided, structured plan and work out with other people. That idea resonated with people versus paying a personal trainer $50 to $100 an hour for a training session. So they're like, hey, I can spend this much money and go to CrossFit and get a somewhat personalized workout, or I can spend this much money and get it fully dialed in, but I'm paying triple the cost, right? So when that happened, personal training started to have a little downslide at that time for me and some of the other trainers that I knew. And I was like, hey, I need to get something else going because the income is falling off a little bit. And what can I do? So I got into the nightclub business. And then that's where I met a couple friends. My business partner at the time, Justin, was in the bar scene. Everyone knows Justin Rip pretty well. If you were going out downtown West Palm, or if you're from Boynton, you know who he was from working at Quarterdeck or the other clubs that he was in. So Justin and I developed a really funny friendship. We knew of each other because our ex-girlfriends were, his ex and my ex worked together in the same hair salon. And they're always like, oh, let's get together. Let's do a double date. You guys will love each other. And we never got it to work. And then we both got separated from them. I wanted to go out one night for my birthday, and Justin's like, I put a post up and he's like, hey, hit me up. Like, I can get you set up with where you want to go and it'll all be taken care of. And in exchange, let me work out with you a couple times. He's like, I see you at the gym. Like, you're jacked. I'm not. Let's be friends. And I was like, all right, cool. And then it kind of started from there. So we worked together in the nightclub industry for a while. And one night we both just had a really long night at work. I think I got in. I was working at Rachel's at the time, and I went into work at 7 at night, and I didn't get home till 8 a.m. the next day. And I take my dog out, and I'm walking the dog, and I get a phone call from Justin, who had just got home from a bar cleanup. And he's like, dude, I want to start figuring out what the next move is. I don't want to work at night for the rest of my life. Like, I'm thinking about maybe getting into the t-shirt business, do custom apparel. And I was like, say less. I'm in. Whatever you're thinking, I want to be a part of it, and let's do it. So,
why is that? Just because you knew he was a hustler, or?
Justin's a hustler, and he's a lot like me, where if we're going to put effort into something, we know it's going to succeed and we're going to get there. So that dynamic there, and then just the intrigue of something new and different and something to do during the daytime, because the training was falling off and I was just so tired of just being a vampire and working at night. So I was like, let's do it. And so we secured a little loan. And we spent the money and bought this direct-to-garment printer that was supposedly the best thing in the world at the time, which had we known then what we know now, we would have never bought it. But great learning experience, plenty of messed up shirts over the years in the beginning. But we started in a little townhouse office, and what we did, we just went to our friends that owned the bars or the nightclubs or anything like that, or that we knew had businesses, and like, hey, let us print some shirts for you. And then Justin had this great idea to, hey, all the DJs that we know, let's grab their logos and let's make them a hat and a t-shirt and just put it on their DJ booth before the night, before they come in to DJ at the club or wherever we were working at that time. And we did that, and they're like, hey, you can print 1-off, 2-off things. And then it kind of just grew some momentum from there. And then we have Will, who's our other partner in the business. Will was doing embroidery in the malls forever. Will's been in the industry for 20 years.
Is that the guy in the Boynton Mall that was doing my hats?
Yeah, he was in the Boynton Mall that did your hats. So Will was doing that, and we're like, hey, Will, like, we want to get in this. And Will's like, hey, listen, like, learn the printing side of the business, build it up, and then when you guys get to a level that equals what we're doing here, we'll form a super team and we'll create a production center and we'll grow from there. So like 2.5 years into it, we got to that point and we're like, hey, Will, we're ready. And he's like, no chance. And we're like, no, we're telling you, here's the numbers. And he's like, oh yeah, you guys are ready. And we're like, all right, we found a space. This is what we're going to do. And we started it and kind of never looked back. We just kept growing from there. Pretty wild.
Yeah, it is wild, because I remember placing orders with you a very long time ago in the beginning, and I was picking them up at someone's house. I think Justin's.
It was Justin's townhouse, yep.
So I do recall you guys started off in a house, didn't have the money yet for a facility, right?
Yeah. Our original office is smaller than this podcast room that we're in right now. So,
and that's what I love about most of the business owners and entrepreneurs I've had on here is we all have started off very small, sometimes in our homes. I know with Muay Thai Addict, it was out of my home. And even with my law office, one of those executive suite type things where you look bigger than you really are.
Right.
You said you needed to get a loan to start. How'd you get a loan when you had a brand new business?
Bank of Mom.
Okay.
Justin's mom. Yeah, she's like another mother to me as well. She's awesome. She was like, hey, you're getting out of the nightclub industry, or you're going to make this try. Like, I would love to see that. She's like, I want to support you guys. So here you go. So she loaned us some money to help us out.
Nice.
And we got off and rolling. So
you got lucky.
Some personal money and some money from the family. And here we go.
Well, that's good. You got lucky, because a lot of times banks will not give out loans to brand new corporations. So if you can find a friend or family, someone that can give you a loan, obviously saves a lot of hassle and paperwork.
It definitely does. And a lot of interest.
Yes, that too. What were some of the challenges you guys faced over the years in growing? And we'll get to kind of where as employees you had now and you had then and now, but what were some of the challenges that you faced?
Well, the biggest challenge in the beginning was we were doing that direct-to-garment printing and not screen printing. So The ink is very different. It sits on the shirts different. It's a totally different print process. So learning that print process was one of the biggest challenges in the beginning. You have to pre-treat the shirt. The shirts have to air dry and hang out. So we used to go into the garage, take a little Wagner paint sprayer, put the pre-treat solution in there, spray each shirt individually where it was getting printed, put it on a hanger, put it on a coat rack in the garage, and let it hang dry for 24 hours before we could even print it. So we didn't know in the beginning that you couldn't quick cure them or quick dry them in a faster way. So we tried to, oh, well, what if we heat press it dry and take the moisture out? And we learned fast that you couldn't do it that way. There was no real shortcut at the time for it. So trial and error, a lot of messed up shirts, a lot of ink uncured, and we thought it was dry and it would drip down the shirt later. It was a fun process. That was the biggest hiccup in the beginning, was learning what the limitations of the machine were. So they always said 100% cotton garment prints best. Don't do cotton poly blends or anything like this. And we tried with some blends and we see the difference in the print quality and stuff like that. So biggest challenges really were just figuring out what to print on and what not to print on in the beginning, and how can we make it more efficient, because this process was long and tedious. There's a lot that went into it.
YouTube's been around back then, but I assume you probably did not have a lot of YouTube help to learn this stuff. Did you have anyone in the industry that was helping you guys figure this stuff out, or it's just trial by error and then you finally master it?
In the beginning, it was a lot of just go online, do some digging and some research. There wasn't a lot of people that we knew in the industry doing the printing side of things. And even Will, was his knowledge of the print side was very limited too, because he was so into the embroidery. So where we hit our first big step up, a friend of ours, Chris, was doing screen printing out of his house. So we started sending Chris some of the screen printing work, as one color, white ink on black garments. DTG was okay, but the white was dingy, not super vibrant and white. So people were kind of like, hey, why is my white not popping? So when we made the transition and started going to Chris, we got those nice bright whites and the bright colors that people wanted in the logos. So we started doing it with him, and he was doing it at his house too. So then we grew a little bit and we ended up renting a place in Vista Parkway, and we started off there with 2 DTG printers and the 1 manual wheel. And Chris was running the screen printing, and I would start learning how to screen print from Chris, because I knew nothing about it at that time either, just knew what we did for the DTG. So as time went on, Chris became more, he had another job. He was working full time Pratt and Whitney at the time, and they were starting to give him more and more hours and overtime. And he was getting frustrated because he had just had a kid. And he's like, I don't know if I can keep printing. I don't know what to do. And Justin and I were like, dude, listen, like, you got a family to worry about. Like, if this is more hours and it's better for you, we'll buy you out. We'll buy your equipment. We'll buy your supplies, and we'll still be here for you if you ever need anything. And you go and take care of your family and do what you have to do. So we kind of bought him out, and then Justin and I got kind of thrown into the fire even more to learn more about the screen printing. And we just started slowly growing it from there. And Chris went on his way to do the things at Pratt and Whitney. He's now got another business that he started on his own. So he's at Pratt and he's doing his own thing. And then he's doing really well too. So to watch his growth from where we started with him to where he is now too is really cool. So like, he helped us get started and put us on the right track and gave us better traction to provide a better service to our customers by adding in the screen printing dynamic. So that was cool. And then we realized quickly too, some jobs we were starting to get, the volume of the job was too big for what our limited capabilities were on a manual press. So we needed to find someone that had an auto press and was able to bang out bigger quantities faster. And at that point, I was talking to a good friend of mine. I think you know him, Don, who used to own Muscle Store on Congress in Lake Worth. Yeah. From the Muscle Store, he went to Next Level Nutrition, and then from there, he's now Iron Maid Nutrition. So Don has always been a big apparel guy, and he was always ordering. So he linked me up with his guy that was printing the shirts. His name was Jack. And he's like, hey, look, like I called Jack, go meet him, go talk to him. I met Jack, real cool guy, old school New Yorker, actually Boston, really. He's he's hardcore. He's a funny guy. Went to him. He's kind of give me that sideways look, like, oh yeah, like I'll help you out because Don made the phone call, but I don't really see you
Other
going.
than that, yeah,
Yeah,
don't waste my time.
Yeah, I don't really see you going very far in this at first. And then we kind of Justin and I showed Jack what kind of hustlers that we are, because we started out, hey, we just need 24 here, 36 here, and then next thing you know, we're coming in a couple weeks later. Hey Jack, I need 700 shirts. Jack, I need 800 shirts. Hey Jack, I need 1,000 shirts. What can we do? And he's like, man, what are you guys doing? We're like, just networking. We're going out, we're talking to people, and hey, we do shirts. How can we help you? And this is where it's at. And he's like, unbelievable. So Jack helped really become that next level of growth for us, to where we could bang out these bigger quantities and get it done in a timely fashion. So we did outsource and move around and work with other businesses to where we all worked well together and we all benefited from the end result of the product.
I want to talk about networking and marketing. It was interesting that you said that you and Justin knew a lot of people from being in the clubs and working at night and having your clients as trainers that you were training. Those are really interesting concepts with the DJs and hitting up all the people in the clubs. That's obviously how you started to get your name out there, but what have you guys done all along to get to this level? Because I know I talked to you a long time ago and you said you had clients all around the country. So how do you get to that type of level? I know you can only do so much networking. Are you doing social media stuff, or is it just straight face-to-face, word of mouth type things?
So I would say a majority of everything that we get comes from word of mouth and referrals. That's our referral network is huge, and our connections that we have, who knows who, is just, it's extraordinary. Like, it's kind of mind blowing how small this circle is sometimes.
Especially
when you really
Palm Beach
look at
County.
it.
If people are from here, they know, everyone knows everyone.
Exactly. Like, we got in with Rocco from Rocco's Tacos, and we're now helping do all of his restaurants that he owns. We provide their garments and the apparel that all his employees are wearing. And Rocco's was a game-changing type of account for us because of all the people that Rocco knows. So when his friends that had other businesses were in trouble or in need, he'd be, hey, reach out to my guys, Justin and Jay. They'll take care of you. So Rocco's influence really helped put us on another stratosphere, in my mind, at that point in time when we had taken him on. So he helped network us out to a lot of people as well.
That's a big deal.
So, and then we have another guy that I think was really helpful for us, that got us a lot more all over the place too. Sidney Gordon from Core Medical Group. He's down in Boca, his main office. Well, at least when I met him, he was down in Boca. And Sid works with a bunch of different gyms and health centers and everything like that with what he does is his business. So he gets his apparel, he sends it to the people that he works with, and they're like, oh, who does your apparel? Next thing you know, we're doing a cross-branded Core Medical meets this gym, and then the gym will come and be like, hey, I love the apparel. Let's continue to order. So the networking like that from the other business owners has been astronomical for us.
So you think those two businesses are the ones that kind of took you to the next level and got the word out?
Those two helped at the time when we had both of them. That definitely helped. We did social media. Social media has been, it rides waves. It's really good, then it's flat, and then it's good. It all depends on how you hit the trends and what's going on, and figuring out the algorithm,
right,
which is never easy because it's constantly changing and evolving.
Of course.
Whoever has that down to the science, like, I commend you, because it is very hard to continue to stay on the top of the social media trend. We do some organic SEO. We've done some different things like that. It all helps, but it doesn't do that rapid fire of the word of mouth or the referral network does. We send out email blasts. We use like MailChimp. We send it out to our customer database, and then we go to trade shows. The trade shows is something we're doing more recently within the last year and a half. And we go and we're networking with other print shops and other our equipment manufacturers, but they know customers who need help, and then referrals from there. Or, hey, this print shop does embroidery only, but they sell they need help with screen print, and they'll call us and we'll do the screen print for them. And then if they do a service that we don't offer, kind of scratch each other's backs,
right,
and grow from there too. So we're working with everybody, collaboration over competition, we realize goes a long way.
Yep.
That helps too. But one of the biggest things that really put us on the map was COVID, believe it or not. COVID was a game changer for us. Custom masks.
Oh, wow.
Custom masks. Like,
So there was a time where like masks were hard to get. I don't know if it was just certain masks, but did you guys get ahead of that?
so what happened was the government decided to put the mask mandate in place. And in the beginning, it was very just, hey, your face has to be covered. We don't care if you use a sock. We don't care what you use. So our t-shirt manufacturers decided to cut their t-shirts in a little mask shape with a little slit for over the ears, and you throw the slit on over your ears and your face is covered. There you go. It's a breathable piece of fabric that's covering your mouth. So when we got word that they were coming in, we sent out an email blast to all of our customer base. We can do custom masks. And the response was astronomical. I mean, we're talking over $100,000 in sales over the course of a weekend from custom masks
Wow.
alone. People were like, "Hey, I need 1,000. I need 5,000. I need 500. I have to get this." So it was quick. So what we did, we went to some other print shops that we knew because the volume we took in, we could have
Couldn't
never
handle it.
printed on our own. And we went and talked to some of the other local shops that were still open because a lot of shops had to close for COVID. So we went to the ones that were open and we're like, "Hey, we've got masks." Well, I don't really want to print masks. Guys, this is no different than printing a t-shirt. We made a template for it so you can print 3 at a time, tack it down like a normal t-shirt. Like, this is how you do it. Are you in or you're out? And then a lot of them got on board, and we printed and printed and printed and printed, and then we continued
Printed more.
and we printed more. And then we continued to grow from there. And then the masks got better and better. So in the beginning, some people were like, "Hey, these masks are really shitty," and we're like, "We know,
Yeah,
but
we're
this is
working on it.
if you read the description, it's 100% cotton one ply material. Like, it's the basic of the basic that we can do to be compliant with what the government is telling you." So it's something until they come out with better masks.
Right.
And then these 2-ply masks came out and they had the ear straps and they were adjustable. Some were made of polyester, some were cotton poly blend. Like, you had a lot of options of masks that had come out too. So the masks just continued to get better, and then the mask sales continued to amount up.
So that mask phase, was that able to boost you guys significantly financially and as far as your customer base?
It did, because what happened was a lot of the businesses that stayed open, their print shops unfortunately had to close because they were in retail plazas, registered as retail businesses and things like that. So we are in an industrial area and we're more under like a manufacturing hood than we are under retail because of where we are. So we never got deemed to be a non-essential business that had to close, mandatory close. So we were fortunate enough to stay open, and we were fortunate enough to stay busy to keep our employees paid where they never had to take a hit while COVID was going on. So the businesses that were still open that needed apparel, if their shops were closed, they're like, "Hey, we've heard about you guys. We have your business card, but we've don't want to leave where we are because of comfort, but now we're at a point where we don't have a choice. We have to look somewhere else for right now because we're still operating and we need apparel. So can you guys help us out?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So that kind of opened up the door for us to get some new customers in as well. And then when COVID restrictions started to loosen up, some of these other businesses, they came back and they're like, "You know what? I don't want to open my doors again because we weren't ready for something like this and the recovery is going to be crazy." So some of the print shops were like, "Hey, can we just send you guys the work and we'll middle it?" "Sure, no problem." And other shops were like, "Hey, we have a couple employees." So we grabbed some employees and things like that. So it kind of worked out. Like, even the shops that came back, their customers went back to them and we had no hard feelings or ill will because that wasn't our intention to take anyone's customer base. We were open. So we printed, and then we created another market from there, and then created more, I guess you say, a better bond with some of the other shops in the community because they're like, "Hey, they're not like fighting us to keep our customers and stuff like that." So it's like,
Not
now
trying to poach.
now we're sending work back and forth and doing things together. And again, collaboration over
Collaboration and trust.
competition. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Let's back up. So why don't you talk about some of the things that Rip Print does, your company?
So we're custom apparel and promotional items. So screen printing, embroidery, direct to film printing. If you need cups, pens, koozies, any of those things, frisbees, whatever you can to market your business. If you can think it, we can really ink it. So that's where our tagline kind of came in. You
Mhm.
think it, we ink it. If you can put it in your head and customize it, we can get it done for you on one level of whatever the medium decides to be for the print process. So
Okay.
we'll kind of do it all. It's try to make it as much of a one-stop shop as possible.
Right.
So pretty cool what can and can't be done. Like
Yeah, you're doing.
sky's the limit.
Yep. So you start off with you and Justin, and
Mhm.
now today, how many employees do we have?
To date with everybody, it is now I think 27 or 28 total employees, including the three of us owners.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people depending on us. It's a great feeling to be able to provide for all those families and know that we're taking care of people on that level. It's been awesome. Finding the team has been difficult.
How do you find the right person? Who's doing the training? Who's doing the hiring? How do you figure that stuff out? Because dealing with human beings is a pain in the ass. And the more human beings in a company, the more drama. I mean, that's just how it is.
It is. It's like running a high school sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's really trial and error to be honest. We put the listing up on Indeed, we market it on social media, see who comes in. Collectively, we usually sit down with me, Justin, and Will sit down together, interview somebody and kind of go through that process and see if their personality is a fit, if their work ethic is there, and then we kind of just like, hey, if you want the job, it's yours to lose at this point. Like this is what we expect of you. Come in, start working. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, no harm, no foul. So it was kind of plug and play for a while. The training was kind of divvied up between Justin would do some, I would do some, Will would do some, depending on what department we put them in. And then we have our production manager Louie, who is really in charge of the training now for anyone that comes in for cleaning, screen printing, or anything on that side of the business is all done by Louie. And then anything on the embroidery side of the business is done by Will or his nephew Derek, who runs that department. And so Louis has been with us almost since day one, since we got the actual physical shop and got out of the townhouse. We brought Louis in. He was 17. He's my cousin. He's like, hey, I need a job. And I was like, come print t-shirts for us. So he came on board and he's been with us since, and he's grown the whole way. So he went from only knowing how to print t-shirts on the direct garment machine to learning how to fix any machine that we have in the shop at this point, to knowing how the print process works, the curing process. This kid knows the business inside and out, and now he's kind of become our lead guy in that department. So anyone that gets hired now has to interview with him to make sure they're a fit for what he's looking for, and then fill in the role from there.
So your company has room for people to grow and for people to have a permanent career if they want to and want to earn it.
There's definitely plenty of room for people to grow and earn extra with us. We encourage that internal growth from everybody, and there's always an opportunity. So you can start as a cleaner with us, and then you can become a printer, and then you can go from a printer. If you get good at that and you understand the business and you want to do sales, we can put you into a sales role or anything like that. So it really depends on what your work ethic is like and what you're looking for out of it. But we have ways to
Right.
help everybody continue to level up.
I mean, there are people who, most people in this world, they're happy with kind of, 9 to 5 ish, or kind of being told, tell me what I need to do and I'll just do it.
Right.
So there are people like that who are comfortable and fine with that. And then there are people who don't really want to take the risk of being an entrepreneur, but they want to make sure that they can grow with the company. And then you have people like yourself and myself who we want to be entrepreneurs. We want to run the show. High risk, high reward is what I always say. And that's what it is.
It is. It definitely is. And we have a good mix of everybody there. We have your standard 9 to 5 workers, and we have the ones that are like, hey, if there's overtime on the table, I want every hour of it you possibly can give me. and we give it to them. So there's always opportunities there. You know, there's some months where we're super busy and we need to run 12-hour days, and these guys are on board for it. And then there's other months where, you know, we barely have enough to do an 8-hour day every day, but you know, we make it work and we
Right.
find things to do to make sure everyone gets their full check. You know, it's a roller coaster. There's days that are, or months that are great all the way through, and then there's some lag weeks here and there. But that's any business. You have your highs and your lows, and you kind of work with it. But making sure that everybody's taken care of is our number one focus on that. But we do have the go-getters, and we have your fly-by-nighters.
Right.
But we have a good balance of all of it, and the team chemistry works really well.
It's good culture.
It's a good culture.
Yeah. How many facilities do you have? I thought last time I talked to you, you were going to move up to Jersey as well and have one, or where are you? How many?
So we have our one location over, let's see, we have units 13, 14, 15.
Same area that I went to a long
16.
time ago?
Yeah, right
Okay,
there.
you
Vista
just ended
Parkway
up
still.
kind
We
of
just have more
expanding
in
it,
there
okay.
now. Yep. So we started with just unit 14, then we grew it into unit 13, then we took over units 16 and 17, and then we just acquired
Jeez.
in between that we acquired unit 15 now too, just recently. And then we have one more unit across the street where we run all the embroidery and the direct film printing. So we're kind of spread out in that plaza there now. So we're trying to look for something. The next level is we would like to buy a building, but commercial, it's crazy right
Yeah.
now. So that's in the game plan, but it's not an essential right this second. So we're looking how we can kind of get everything closer to being in one space, but we're a little spread out right now, but we make it work. We do really well with the space that we have, and it's crazy to know that we went from a, you know, like a 10-by-8 townhouse to
I
having,
remember that.
you know, to having almost 10,000 square feet of facility
The
now.
landlord must
that
love
we're-
you guys.
They do like us. They do. We've seen a couple different landlords come in and out of there, a couple different property management groups, but you know, they're all like, hey, you guys are so easy to work with.
Yeah.
Like, we want to make sure we can keep you here as long as we can, which is great. Jersey was a thing. We my wife and I and the kids moved up there right before COVID hit, honestly. And the plan was to maybe have a satellite location up there at one point in time. Then COVID hit, and everything in New Jersey and New York was completely different than
Different
down here.
level up there.
I mean, the minute that the threat was there, the gyms were closed.
Yep.
All businesses were closed.
they went
they went
so overboard.
They went ballistic.
which is
up
why
there.
everyone came down here, moved down here.
Correct. So you had all these businesses up there that were still open that needed apparel, and 90% of the print shops in the state were done. So that's when I kind of rooted in with my connections from growing up there and got on board with a couple different businesses. And then they're like, hey, how much to get it done? I know your shop in Florida is still open. I was like, hey, listen, like, here's your price for what you need, and with shipping included, this is the number. And they're like, this is less than I pay now for my local guy. And I was like, all right, cool. So we started doing that. And then after seeing that and hearing that, it was kind of like, why do we want to open another physical location, more moving parts, more things that can break, the struggle to find the staff, the liability, all these things, when we can just send it and everybody's good with the pricing with shipping included? Why not? So that helped us expand to shipping all over the place too. Because then up there, who knows someone in Massachusetts, who knew someone in, you know, Pennsylvania, and then ding, 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 it, you know, hit on all the lights. So we stayed up there in Jersey for pretty much the full 4 years of like the COVID trauma craziness. We let our oldest son graduate high school. And after he graduated, I kind of told my wife, like, listen, like, things are getting really busy down there in Florida. I have to come back to continue the growth. And like, if we're down there, I can provide way better for our family than I can if we stay in New Jersey. Because eventually the partners will be like, Jay, you know, your pay is capped. Like, and you're an owner, you're not getting a commission structure for what you sell over. You're capped because you're not here physically every day. So I was like, I need to be back in the mix with everything and continue to contribute 100% to my ability. Like, I felt like I wasn't pulling my weight while we lived up there, even though I was to what I was expected of me. But to me,
probably
it wasn't
pulling the physical weight.
It wasn't the same that I used to pull. You know, if
Right.
I was down here, I would put in 20-hour day if I had to, and think nothing of it. You know,
I remember you telling me that you were working some really crazy hours, especially in the beginning. And that's the thing that people who want to start a business need to know. Social media really skews entrepreneurship and making money and all that. And people make it seem like it's easy, and it's not most of the time. And you got to grind it out. But every one of us, I think, has started from the bottom, taking out the garbage, answering your own phones, doing all that stuff, and then work your way up. And people don't see that. And I remember you talking about working some really crazy hours for a long time.
yeah. I mean, it's part of the growth. It's something you have to do if you're not willing to commit 24 hours of your day to your business. It's not really
Yeah, how
going
much
to
do
go
you want
anywhere.
it?
Sometimes you need to really put the effort out there,
Right.
and that was another game changer in the beginning for us too, because Justin and I were still working in the clubs, and then we were working in the print shop. And some people were like, well, how committed to the print shop are they if they're still working at night in the club? And then what that led to was I took the leap and got out of the clubs first. I told Justin, hey, like I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna dedicate this. And so my 20-hour work days of splitting between the shop and the club became 20-hour work days
Right.
at the print shop if it was needed. And I mean, go home and still go to get to work on the computer, try to answer emails, fall asleep on the table in my computer. I mean, my wife has pictures of me passed out, drooling on my laptop, working at 2 a.m. answering emails, just trying to get back to customers. And when people saw us start to transition out, they put more faith in us because they saw how serious we were really
Right.
starting to take it, and that helped our growth
Yeah,
as well too.
that part-time stereotype doesn't help.
Yeah, no. They want to make sure you're in it
Yep.
and that you're going to be there for the long run. If not, there's no reason for them to leave where they're at now or use the professionals who are
Yep.
there at that point that are going to be there. Hey, he's been here for 10 years. You're only part-timing it. Are you going to be here in 10 years if you don't like the direction of where you go in a couple years? Maybe you're not. So when we started to show them, like, we're here to stay, even more flew into the mix too.
So a big thing when you own a business, there comes a point where you're working in the business and then you have to eventually make that switch to work on it. So you've got people in the right roles, you're delegating, and then you're worrying about and responsible for the growth and the business. How many years do you think it took for you? I know you're still doing some of the physical work, but you're overseeing people now. How many years do you think you had to grind it out before you could kind of take a step back and start working on the business growth?
I mean, for us, I would say we're still kind of doing it right now, a little bit of everything, but not as much as we used to. I don't think it really clicked until about 2 years ago, which would put us about 8 years in, where we were really able to kind of take a real step back. But it was to find the right staff first and get them locked in and dialed in. And now that they're locked in and dialed in, things are a lot smoother. So the last 2 years, Justin, Will, and I have been able to take a little bit more of a step back, go out, network more, go to these trade shows, go to the conventions, put our name out there in all these different arenas, and really get out there and get after it. It's been like that for about the last 2 years. So it took about 8 years to really get there. And there's days where it still feels like we need to be there, but it's more now like, hey, we have a couple employees called out. No problem. We're going to step in. We'll get our hands dirty, operate these machines with our operators and rock and roll. Hey, we need a 20-hour day. Like, we're in. Let's do it. So we're never fully removed from that, but I would say it took about 8 years to really get to that point.
Remember that, people, 8 years of grinding, That's how long it can take. Sometimes it will take a little less, but it is not going to be 6 months. It's not going to be 1 year. It might not even be 2 years of constant grinding.
I mean, they tell you that if you can make it 5 years and you can be successful after 5 years, that you've breached the first tier of success as a business owner. Like, if you can make 5 years,
5 years, then you're pretty much going to at least have a business.
You're in a good spot where you can have a business. They tell you once you make it to 10 years, you've made it. You're successful, and you have a legitimate standing business. If you can get to that 10-year mark, is where it really things start to pay dividends and really come to fruition. Like the dream is a reality at that point.
Right.
That's what I've, heard from some of my mentors and a lot of the people that I've talked to that have been in it. Like, hey, people come out and they swing for the fences and they do really good, and then all of a sudden they lose that momentum. I've seen a lot of strong brands come to us with some great concepts and ideas for apparel. And the apparel industry is tough, especially in the retail space, like the brands like Gymshark and Wolves and the things like that. That's a very tough industry to crack into. And I've seen a couple of people come that have these great ideas and a great drive, and then they just make small little mistakes or missteps, over ordering too much inventory from overseas for the blanks, or putting too much out, and then the next thing you know, they have a couple down months and they're out of business because they can't cover what they paid for, thinking that they were going to continue on a trend. So there's so many little things that go into it. It's mind blowing.
What makes Rip Print different than other printing companies in Palm Beach County or even in Florida?
The two biggest things that we feel set us apart, that we emphasize on everything, is one, our customer service. We're going to go above and beyond. We're going to communicate with you in a very timely manner. If you email us, call us, text us, you're going to have an answer back or hear from us almost instantly, if not within 6 to 8 hours, is the longest you're ever going to go without some form of communication from us. Even if you email in on a Saturday, you're going to get a response that says, hey, we're out of the office until Monday, but we're going to be back in touch with you first thing Monday morning, and we're there. So you're still going to get the correspondence even when we're closed or after hours. You're going to get some kind of communication that we've received your email, your text, or your call,
right?
And we're going to be in contact with you as soon as we're open for business that next day. So customer service is the number one, and then just staying true to our word in our turnaround times. We try to be faster than everyone in the industry with the turnaround times. We do 7 to 10 business days for almost all orders. Now, there's some exceptions. If you order 10,000 shirts, obviously we're going to need a little bit more time because of the sheer volume of those shirts. But turnaround times is another big one, and staying within that and delivering on time as we promise. So a lot of times we'll tell you, hey, 7 to 10 days, and we're calling you on day 5. Hey, your stuff's ready. Come pick it up. Like, that was fast. Yeah, we had it. It was here. We're ready. Got it done. Come pick it up.
Nice.
Have a good day. So
surprise them.
Just sell them the standard, and then if you can deliver better, bring it to that next level for them, and be like, hey, we're not going to wait till we told you it's done.
Of course,
we're going to tell you it's done early, and come pick it up and have a good day.
Yep.
So,
what is your ultimate plan with Rip Print? Where do you see yourselves going? What's the end game?
So we want to grow more, obviously. We'd like to get, we have big goals for where we'd like our sales numbers to go and things like that. And we want to be the shop where everybody comes to, whether you're the end user or if you're another print shop or a middleman that's selling the jobs. We want to be that go-to shop for everybody. So no matter what your need is, we can fill that for you. We want to be the big guys in the business. Like, we want to get to that custom ink for imprint level where people are like, hey, I can just go online and be like, this is what I want. Yep. This is what I need. We'd like to get to that level. That's the next phase in the evolution for us, is trying to scale up to be known like those guys are, but deliver a better product and a better service at the end of the day.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal.
Because that's one of the things I think they lack when they get that big is customer service and making mistakes and stuff like that.
When you're not talking to a human at that point, you're talking to the bots on the website if you have questions, or you're calling in and you're dealing with someone that's sitting in an office overseas that's being paid to answer the phone calls for them, stuff like that. So, and the other thing is, like, those companies are really big. Like, they're awesome what they do. But Custom Ink relies on shops like us as well to print their goods, because Custom Ink can't have a print shop in every state.
Right.
They have a big central hub and a couple other locations where they print out of and ship from. But when you have a customer that goes online and says, hey, I need these shirts in Florida by tomorrow on a less than 24-hour rush, Custom Ink has a shop in Florida. Hey, guys, like, I got this job in your area. can you get it done for us? So they have their network of shops like that as well too. So to even get in with them on that level would be awesome too, just to start out, just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
help them fulfill their orders and then kind of grow to be something like
Yep.
that would be what we're looking for.
Um, what is maybe the one thing you would offer someone who wants to either get into your business or just start a business in general? What piece of advice?
Stay committed to your goal and just work for it. That's it. Effort.
If you really
Everything's
want it, you
effort.
want it.
If you really want it, you have to put the effort in.
Right.
And if you don't have the effort, you're not going to get anywhere. That's the biggest thing a lot of people lack today that I feel is the drive. If you don't have the drive, that's not something you can teach. It's not really a learned behavior. You have it or you don't. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to make sure you have that drive and that ability to not accept failure as failure and know that I'm going to stumble, I'm going to fall, but they all lead to the better get up.
Right.
So, just like Rocky, how many times can he get punched in the
Yeah.
face? You get back up and you keep punching away at it.
Yep.
And you keep punching away at it, that's when you find the success. So I would say being committed and putting in that effort and knowing that you're going to falter, you're going to have missteps, but you can't let those define you. You have to let them shape you. And then you grow from there and you learn from those mistakes and you don't make them again. And you apply that moving forward and you continue to grind.
It's funny you mentioned the word drive because the name of the podcast is The Driven Agenda, and it's about people with drive. And I want to mention something that he said. The drive, you either have it or you don't. And I feel like I am a hybrid of that because when I first, one of the reasons I went to law school was because I didn't really have any hobbies or skills or anything. I just knew law. I worked for law firms and I figured this is what I meant to do. Years later, as I became an entrepreneur, I started having drive towards being a business owner. I started Muay Thai Attic, and I was passionate about that. And those two businesses helped create drive in me, but I had to have the passion for it. So you could feel like maybe I don't have the drive to do certain things, but then maybe that's just not what you're passionate about. If you find the right thing, then I think you're going to find that drive. There are people who are just naturally driven people. I myself am kind of a extroverted introvert. So I talk to people and go to networking events because I need to because of work. But then when I get home, I'm tired and I shut it down. But same thing with having drive. I don't think you necessarily are born with it. You can develop it and master it if you find the right thing that you want to accomplish.
I think that's accurate. The drive, yeah, you're not going to be driven to do something you don't care about, right? So why would you start a business for something you don't care about? You're never going to develop that drive. But if you have the passion for it, the drive kind of comes.
Yep.
The passion motivates the drive. So that definitely.
When you're not working, what do you like to do in your free time?
When I'm not working, let's see.
Sleep.
I wish sleep's not on the agenda with a 3-year-old at home.
Yeah.
So I have the toddler. So what we do is I'll go home and I'll ask her like how she's feeling, what she wants to do. And so sometimes we're going to the park. Other days it's gymnastics lessons with her. Take her there, and then after the gymnastics, it's always like, hey, can we go to the gym? I want to play with my friends while you work out. Yeah, sure. So work out, stay in shape. Those are really, the little hobbies. Play golf on the weekends every now and then when I can. My business partner, Will, got me into playing disc golf a little bit now. So sneak away to play that every now and then. But mainly just spend time with the family and the kids and, kind of just be there for them because the business takes up a lot of time. And then I want to make sure I have time for the family too. So
have you always made sure to work out and stay healthy?
I've always made it a predominant thing I need to do. I have to do it. Like to the point where I got a badass gym set up in the garage at home now too. That way if it's like, oh, I don't feel like driving to the gym.
You have no excuse.
Cool. Walk outside, bro. It's right here. get your workout in and get it done. And now it's even easier because my 3-year-old will come out there with me and she likes to hang out in there, and then she'll mimic my movements
Right.
and what we're doing. So we have a little like a PVC made weight set for her. So it's all really, really light,
That's
but you
cool.
can fill it with water, and then as she gets stronger, it can kind of grow with
Yeah,
her
yeah.
a little bit, and she'll sit there and she'll grab that barbell and she'll lay down on the bench and be like, "Dad, watch, like 1, 2," and she'll start bench pressing, and it's great. Or she'll put it on her back if she watches my wife do a lot of squats and stuff, so she'll put it on her back and she'll look, "Dad," I'm like, "Mom, I'm growing my butt." And I'm like, "Yes, this is awesome." She's like, "I'm doing squats. Watch me. I'm getting to the ground. Let's go." Yeah, she's
learning from her dad.
she's a character. So it's always good to watch. And that motivates me because a lot of people are like, "How do you work out at home? It's not the same in the gym." And I'm like, because I have that motivating factor right there, knowing that I'm instilling this discipline into my daughter, that she sees that working out and being fit is important too. And
And it helps with
you're
the business.
right. And you're teaching that as well.
Yep.
So it's really cool to have that dynamic,
Well, Jay, it's been a pleasure. Gosh, we're at 50 minutes. Remember I told you that
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things just go,
They
but I
do.
love it. It's been a pleasure, man. I really appreciate you coming in and taking time out to do that. How can people reach out to you and find you, whether they want to hire your company for services or if it's somebody that's looking for business advice?
Yeah, really easy. Just go online, www.ripprint.com. We have the website. We have at Ripprint on Instagram, at Ripprint on Facebook. You can get in contact with us there. We'll get you in direct contact with me via my cell phone or email, or if you're just looking for things in general, whatever department that it might fall into, we'll put you in contact with our lead for that department. So those would be the 3 easiest ways. Just look us up on Google too. Contact info is all there. So,
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you again. It's always good to see you. And one last thing, happy 40th birthday, brother.
Thank you,
saw
sir.
you turn
Thank you.
40. I
I
remember
did.
those days 10 years ago. I was going through a divorce on my 40th, so it wasn't as fun as yours probably is. But happy 40th to
Thank
you and much success. And I always enjoy talking to you.
Thank you, brother. It was a pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure being here.